active. I think I can be pretty glad having secured 0.5% in here. During the London session, we went short on this bearish fair value gap. I personally had my stop loss right up here at 4.5 points. Never hit my 1-to-1, but I entered 2 positions actually, and I was able to secure 0.5% and lock it in with my stop at break even right here at the previous day's high on my new 5%ers funding account. And yeah, so afterwards we just chopped. Glad that I didn't waste much time in front of the charts this morning. We had the 8:30 news event, 8:25, 8:30. Like I said, we would have had a 1-to-1 before that. Not much of a fan of holding through the New York Open, especially if the New York Open is something like this. So right now, if we only view this bearish fair value gap right here, we closed above it. So now we could be using this as support. Let's jump in with the market here. Maybe we get a little bit deeper of a retracement. Because this in itself is a market structure shift, a lower low, lower high, lower low, higher high. Targeting buy side liquidity up here. We have a hourly bullish fair value gap right there as well. Let's keep that in mind, but let me get rid of the power of 3 indicator for a second. We know it's there. While NQ is selling off. So that's really, really interesting right now. We see the indices doing completely the opposite. 1 minute time frame here on ES. So NQ is selling off below these relative to equal lows here. Potentially also going below the Asia session low. Let me see. But that's not worth an entry, at least not yet. Here on my 5% this account. Right here, that's the short, and that's the stop at break even. By lot. 15 minute. 5 minute. Let's check out what the spread is currently like. 4.5. That's okay, that's not too bad. NQ almost at the Asia session low. So NQ delivered nicely off this inversion fair value gap setup here, overlapping with this bearish fair value gap right here. It swept the high right here, this short-term high, but eventually delivered lower and hit the anticipated target, inversion fair value gap. So manipulation at the high of the day right here, taking buy side liquidity. First target, relative equal lows right here. Second target, Asia session sell side. This is our current daily range. Let's go back to ES. You can see ES is not giving us that sign of weakness. And a long right here, simply based on that market structure shift right here. And the new inversion fair value gap. So if we get rid of this for a second and only look at most recent fair value gaps, this would be an inversion fair value gap. We retested that just now, and now we might use it as support, paired with this breaker block right here, this up closing candle. To continue higher. So all I'm using here is the lower low, lower high, lower low, market structure shift, support, continuation higher. Oh shit, sorry guys. I noticed. Stream is running now. Yep, so now the stream is running. I also want to announce a quick promotion that I've started this afternoon. So right here we're offering 50% on our VIP membership for the first month if you sign up via this link and use the code VIP50 at checkout. And also if you want to save and if you decided to become a long-time member, then make sure to open a support ticket right here on our Discord server. And we're gonna get you set up for a lifetime membership also with a 50% discount. But that's all about that. I'm gonna be giving a free 150k challenge with my funded futures to one of our VIP members at the end of the month. So when this entire promotion is over, if you want to participate in that, feel free to sign up with a 50% discount. We also currently have a free another 50k account challenge giveaway, but this one's a bigger giveaway with 150k account challenge. Simply fill out this form I just shared it on Discord. It's also all over YouTube. Check it out. There are currently 14 participants. The odds for you to win, well, it's 1 against 14 or 1 against 13 actually at this point in time. So I think that's the highest probability that you get out of all the social media giveaways you likely ever participated in. And maybe one of you right here watching the stream at the moment. Let's jump back into live stream. It's a lucky winner of either the 50k challenge or even the 150k my funded futures challenge. I think that's going to be pretty cool. So NQ swept the London session low, almost at the Asia session low. Let's see where we're at on a higher time frame. So on the higher time frame, we're on that highest bearish fair value gap. We tested this up closing candle. We didn't take buy side right up here. There's no bullish for our fair value gap right here. Let's see if that would have been some kind of a optimum trade entry right here. ICT fib retracement, 61.8, but not a full-on optimum trade entry. So let's see, this could also just end up being a manipulation move to the downside. We'll see. Like I said, I don't see the signatures right now on ES, so I'm not just simply going short on ES because I see NQ is going short. I would like some confirmation with that. All I see right now on ES is that we are above the previous day's high, that we have a high probability order block right here at 50.22, paired with a breaker block, paired with a inversion fair value gap, and paired with a bullish fair value gap. And that's not telling me, yeah, the same bias that I would get simply by looking at NQ. High probability order block, took out sell side, no wick to the upside, followed by a bullish engulfing, paired with a bullish fair value gap. Short-term low cleared. So simply based on that, of course, you could just anticipate lower prices because that's what NQ did. But yeah, there's no guarantee in ES doing the same thing. potential is there if it's worth the risk to you to simply wager a bet and say, yes, it's going to do the same as in Q. I'm going to give it maybe a 10-point stop loss and target a 1-to-1 risk to reward into equal low sell side. Well, then feel free to do that, but that's not what I'm going to be doing. I don't see the entry opportunity on NQ either. Would have been right here. This inversion fair value gap paired with the bearish fair value gap. Let's check out the 1 minute time frame. And see how we hold up in here. If we respect that in any kind of way. NQ now took out the low of the day, so that's potential SMT divergence already. Yes, just retested the order block paired with the bullish fair value gap and the entire breaker block. Closed right on a high of it. So right now still respecting the bullish discount. Let me actually get rid of the breaker block here. It's just making it messy. I don't like this flickering around here, seeing No, I think that's just a regular Topstep Valentine's Day promotion for the 50k challenge for $5. Like I said, just never forget about that. Yeah, that's just the hook, the deal to get you started with Topstep and then eventually pay the activation fee. But it's a pretty good deal. 50k for $5. Why not try it? I don't affiliate with or partner with Topstep. I don't like them. I even did a limited amount. Interesting. Alright, here we go. I'm feeling sorry for the ones that took shorts on ES just because they thought it has to go lower with NQ. Right now, order flow and yeah, simply watching and listening to what price tells us. 1 over, yeah, simply blindly shorting this because NQ sold off. Like I said, we just spoke about the high probability order block right here. Paired with the bullish fair value gap. We saw the close below our inversion fair value gap right here, but we still respected our bullish fair value gap and the order block. That's exactly where we closed. Now we're getting a new bullish engulfing candle away from that. Gonna take my first partial at buy side liquidity and my next. Come on. Profit target is gonna be taken right here. So 1. Heading over to NQ. Like I said, this could be the New York Open manipulation move. And we still continue higher. Now we'll see. We will see. Wait 1.5 minutes for this candle to close. So on the 1 minute time frame here, we retraced also into order block right here. Our lower low market structure shift. No specific bullish value gap on the 1 minute time frame, but we swept the short term low and moved away from that again. short-term high right here, and right there. Like I said, it's gonna be an interesting New York session. If the setup was to present itself like we saw it yesterday, we then saw a clean setup on ES during the New York Open, and I decided to actually end the stream early because I was not able to trade on my funding pips accounts. No fair value gap after the 9:30 opening. The only one we had was right here. It wasn't really respected. We continued lower. We anticipated the swing to the upside being a Tudor swing, looking for lower prices, taking out all these higher lows. Right here with this opening move, we took a paper trade short, but that didn't play out, and we closed the trade with this move to the upside again. Then we consolidated, didn't see anything, got that final push to the upside, and then at the end of our live stream we saw it hit the buy side liquidity. We ended the stream I think around here 10:30 or something, and just afterwards I shared the inversion fair value gap setup right here. So this is our first bullish fair value gap that hasn't been respected. I entered short right here on the inversion fair value gap of this bullish fair value gap, also overlapping with a nice bearish fair value gap right here. So this is the perfect change in the state of delivery, where you don't have to wait for a market structure shift. A market structure shift delivery would simply be too slow, and you would miss out on the majority of the move. You have to be quick and nimble to catch those entries right here. Where's that at? Let's go over to trade ideas. No, tape reading. Now let's not go through all this chat later on. Exactly, Omar. And that's the entire point of having a $5 discount. It's so damn cheap. You even feel stupid if you don't take them up on the offer. It's like the Apex 90% discount, if you know what I mean. Like I said, I'm super convinced that my journey in 2024 is going to be mainly based on CFD funding. That's why I signed up with 5%ers yesterday, and I'm also in contact to, this is the MFFU 50k challenge giveaway, and we have 14 entries so far, so I'm going to pick 1 out of 14. Make sure to be that one to win that free 50k challenge here. But I signed up with, let's go over here quickly, 5%ers, CFD funding firm since 2016. So a pretty old funding firm here, getting close to FTMO in terms of how long they've been doing this for. Got a 60k account for 250 US dollars, euros actually, 250 euros. It's already up 1%. It's pretty cool that it's not the regular 50k. Changing it up a little bit. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. If you get started with CFD funding, I'd say your first funded account should be with either FTMO or 5%ers before you take on some more risk going with one of the new prop firms like I did with funding pips. And if you're a US based trader, just forget about CFD funding firms overall and simply stick to futures funding. 1 minute time frame. We continued higher. Didn't really sweep by a side. Let's wait. If we reject here and break, there's certainly not much we can potentially hold support on. Next sell side objective on inquiry would be here because we had that nice PM session expansion to the upside. Right now this is just job. Yeah, but that's no argument at all saying it's a two-phase process. Every funding firm, if futures or not, in reality is a two-phase process. Funny thing is just that a futures funding firm says, oh yeah, we're one step, blah, blah, blah. And then after the first step, you pay the big dollars, your activation fee, and then you still have to follow some rules before you even get your paid out. That's in reality phase number 2. Most of you already had a past day Apex challenge but failed during the second stage without ever getting a payout, and in my opinion, it's simply that. Let's see how that goes. 0.5% risk short here. Stop loss in reality can go above this high. Reduce the risk a little bit. I like that we've been up high, reached a higher premium. We closed below this bullish fair value gap. We're still within the order block, so theoretically, that's why I didn't use 1% risk. We could still continue higher from here and just deliver very ugly. But this would be that first confirmation that I'm looking for on the 5-minute time frame with this 9:30 a.m. bullish fair value gap that we might be continuing lower. My stop loss is above this high. I risk 0.5% right here. Let's see how that plays out. So yeah, in reality, no matter what funding firm you sign up with, futures or CFD, it's always a two-step process. In my opinion, it's just a million times easier to pass a challenge without a end of day trailing drawdown, or with Apex sort of funding, even a live trailing drawdown, taking in your unrealized profit and loss balance for your trading drawdown. 5%ers and those CFD challenges usually also have a daily stop out level, so you cannot lose more than 5% usually per day, but it's 5%. 5% is your overall max drawdown with a futures funding challenge. Your overall max static drawdown, that's important, with CFD challenges is sitting at 10%. So if you're 5% in profit and you have to reach a 8% target, you can basically lose 15% before you blow the challenge. If you were to do that with Topstep or Apex or Take Profit Trade or MFFU, well, you're sitting at $105,000, for example, 5% in profit on your 100k challenge. If you lose 5% and go back to your initial account balance, you already blown the account. And there's nothing worse than that. So yeah, that's just my opinion. I think for beginners, it's, if you have the option, if you are not a US resident, I think it's definitely worth looking into the CFD account option. And then I would recommend either funding pips once they solved all their issues with US-based clients, or simply go with one of the OG firms like FTMO or 5%ers that have been around since 2016 or 2015 in the FTMO case, and not for the newest funding firm like Funding Pips, for example, or Funded Engineer or Skilled Funded Trader, all these relatively new ones being managed by 20-year-olds basically. FTMO, just FYI, actually won a award for being one of the fastest growing companies in Europe and in their home country in Czechia. A prop firm. That's something. And they are always one step ahead of everyone else. While Funding Pips said all US-based clients are still good to go to sign up with Funding Pips, well, FTMO has already banned them 1 month ago because they certainly do not want to lose their MT5 license. Cool thing about 5%ers here really is, if we go over to the website, 5%ers, bootcamp, it's really their scaling plan. You can scale up to 4 million in funding just with that one funding firm. And you can actually get paid a actual salary if you reach that level. So right here, 4 million. Okay, it's not listed on here, that salary. Where is it? But well, yeah, you can also get started relatively cheap. Get a 100k challenge for 95 US dollars. And you have to reach a profit target of 6% and progress to step 2. And then another 6%, you progress to step 3. And then after you pass those 3 challenges, which is basically your average futures trading challenge. You have a max loss of 5% and a profit target of 6%. Your average 50k futures trading challenge without the live or end of day trading drawdown. Yeah, but well, check it out if you're interested in that. If you're not a US client here, because CFD trading is simply illegal. Don't ask me why. In my eyes, this doesn't make much sense either. You guys are able to buy guns in your local supermarket, but you are not allowed to trade CFDs. That's a very vague line in my opinion. Let's see how we close it, because right now we're still consolidating. We closed back above our bullish value gap and closed in our volume imbalance gap to the downside. So I'm gonna be quick and nimble to exit this trade here. We saw that once we shifted structure here, we actually never shifted structure. We just went sideways. Seeing price go sideways for a period of time usually is a bad sign for a continuation. Usually that means someone's buying and holding up price for it to reverse, basically. And Q kept on tanking. Yes, it's still trapped in this chop. And where is that happening? Just around the VWAP. 15-minute time frame, wicks to the upside, equal low sell side. 5-minute time frame, 1-minute time frame. Well, really, this would be our higher high, higher low, higher high market structure shift breaker block right here. But so far, our long idea of this bullish order block that took sell side liquidity, reacted off the midnight level, bullish engulfing paired with the bullish value gap still played out, or is still holding up. Even though we close below the bullish value gap, like I said, that's why I only use 0.5% risk. Let's see, since 9:30, 10 a.m. That's also a new 4-hour time frame candle. On the 4-hour time frame, reacting off this bearish value gap right here. Pretty overextended. Last time we had a decent retracement was yesterday, 10 a.m. also on this 4-hour candle, which immediately has been bought up during the last couple of minutes, or during one of those hours. So right here, 10 a.m. opened up, continued lower, and at 12 we started to rally back up. So we could see something similar today. Take out all these equal lows first, hit the Asia session low, retrace deeper into that towards the PM session, continue back up. But we need some nice confirmation to see confirmation for longs. Like yesterday, I think we've also been on the long side. Right here, I shared this setup as a trade idea after we took the short, and we ended the AM session live stream a little bit earlier. Right here, I saw this bearish fair value gap paired with this inversion fair value gap. So we closed below this bullish fair value gap right here, leaving behind a new bearish fair value gap, perfectly reacting from the VWAP, also respecting this bearish fair value gap right here, simply looking for that continuation into sell side, played out perfectly. And then later on, I used the same fair value gap for a very simple scalp. So now, let's forget about this inversion fair value gap right here. We close above our bearish fair value gap that we use as resistance to continue lower, really with some momentum, a V-shaped recovery. So now we close above it, turning this one into a inversion fair value gap now. Also leaving behind that same pattern, inversion fair value gap paired with a bullish fair value gap. At this point in time, I'm not interested to see a retracement into the lowest bullish fair value gap that we have available. I want to see this area hold support, so I'm getting in on this bullish fair value gap, place my stop loss, well, give it 5 points max. And what's my buy side target? After which I move my stop to break even right here. Quick 5 points. And afterwards, after we hit that and filled this fair value gap, we would have hit our stop loss or our break even level. That's actually what happened for me yesterday. Then we did some seek and destroy. Starting at 2 p.m., we continued rallying. Looks like we're back in profit on our paper trade. Mm, 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 mm. 5 minute, 15 minute, going to close in 7 minutes, 1 hour time frame. Yeah, that equal low sell side is just not my favorite thing to have on the other end if I'm going long. Let's see, yes, it's still being trapped up there. My stop loss should be safe up here. Only risk 0.5% on my 5%ers account here. So I think that should be fine. If I see more confirmation for my trade to the downside, I might add another 0.5% and see how we continue. If I see more invalidation, well, invalidation is tough here because all we do really is chop. Maybe get some invalidation here on based on NQ, seeing a close above the bearish fair value gap, turning it into a inversion fair value gap for a potential V-shaped recovery, a deeper retracement, continuing up higher. So getting rid of all the longs before we take out the high of the week right here. Stream running smoothly. The recording is perfect. 1 minute time frame. We took the high one more time. If we manage to close above this bearish, well, It's gonna be my exit. Is the Discord stream running fine without any lags? Yeah, should be. Perfect. Yeah, I'm out right here. Not what I want to see if I'm looking for lower prices right here. I still had hopes that we might continue lower, but right now I think that doesn't look like it, like that's gonna happen. And Q also inverted that lowest bearish fair value gap, so now we could be looking for potential, for a potential reversal into our next short-term high target. This might be the low of the day and we go all the way back up into our high of the day, but hang on, let me check. 1 hour time frame and Q. What did you send in here? Yeah, nice deep retracement, filled in the entire hourly bullish fair value gap right here. SMT divergence with ES. Could be a nice reversal low of the day play. Could wait for one more confirmation of bullish order flow if you would want to. Could also try a long off here, stop loss below here, and see how that plays out. We got tapped in on the inversion fair value gap right here. Yeah, funding pips is still down. ETH almost at 3K. Check out the 1 minute time frame. So now we have a inversion fair value gap overlapping with a bullish fair value gap. I would use this as a continuation setup into buy side liquidity. Right up in there. Buy side. We're already long. We've been long since 9:40 a.m. here with this bullish fair value gap overlapping with the order block. I faded that bias because we closed below. Kept on this trade here with my stops right here. Seemingly had no issues not continuing lower. My take profit target for NQ is going to be the short-term high. $4.15. in 2 minutes, so we get a new 15-minute candle close. Could be our first decent close since the 9:30 opening. Check out the 1 hour time frame. Check out the 1 hour time frame here on NQ. So NQ basically filled in this entire hourly bullish fair value gap. Yesterday's PM session moved to the upside. Took out Asia session sell side liquidity. Like I said, this could be that final manipulation, like we saw it yesterday. We don't just always go straight up. We already hit our main target for standard deviations and sell side liquidity in terms of that manipulation that we saw Monday AM session. We've hit that by Tuesday PM session, and that's where we started to catch the reversal during a PM session live stream, and now we might be slowly working our way back to the upside. Check out ES. Interesting, but no new fair value gap. I'm going to be waiting for a new fair value gap before I take another entry. Not going to play around here. Let's see if it was a good idea to actually cut my risk. So I entered short right here on this volume imbalance with my initial stop loss right here, or a little bit above that actually. So I, let's say, roughly got out at 60% of my initial risk. And over time, that's going to save me a lot of risk. Maybe I'm missing out on one potential winning trade if my stop loss is right here and it magically happens to turn around right here. Really rare. In my opinion, it's not worth it to always hold on to my trades if it's already going against you. Most of my stops are just used as safety stop loss. In this case, we can actually start trailing our stop. Right here, add one sell stop. And Q seems to be pushing nicely as well here. Check out the 15-minute. This would have been an entry worth taking on NQ here for my 5%ers account. I'm just not confident enough in actually, in those setups right here on NQ, to be really honest. 1 minute, 5 minute. So right here, this would have been my entry, I guess, on that retracement. Equal lows, equal highs. Theoretically, ES never left the pre-New York Open range from 925 to 930. We're still inside that. Never left that. Mark folder is red. Just going for a couple of Discord messages here in the meantime. There we go. 1 second, guys. All right. I think that would have been enough to stop me out on my 5%ers account, to be honest. With spread, yeah, certainly. So that's how you save 40% of your initial risk, simply by listening to price. Discord 279642 279642. So now we have equal highs as well. Marcus Reds. Let's see what we have here. I'm gonna check that out later. See what we have in here. Anything important? No, doesn't look like it. Gonna read through all that later too. Get back to the stream. So now we actually hit equal highs. And here return back to the VWAP. Save myself some drawdown here. We still don't have a fair value gap to work with. It's a, yeah, trap and gap. I'm not really looking for another entry. What's the time? It's 10:20. Nah. Seeing now that we have equal highs and equal lows right within that silly range, I'm, yeah, not really interested in any of that. Let's actually see and draw our line here. Our initial stop loss was placed above that. We cleared it on the CFD contract, but that's just depending on the broker. That's why I still use the futures chart to do my main analysis. Let's see if we have any questions on Discord. Nope. Is anyone in a trade right now? Bitcoin at 52.5. Looks like the pre-halving rally is about to start. One minute time frame. Damn it, why is it so laggy? There we go. That's acceptable. Cleared short-term low, immediate displacement. Looking for these equal highs to be ran. NQ long out of ES at 17,831 gold long. NQ long out of ES at 17,831. 17,831. Now that's pretty much where I got in on this inversion fair value gap setup. Now we actually have a bullish fair value gap overlapping with that. So I'd say let's keep an eye on that. So there goes equal high buy side with a unfilled volume imbalance just below it. Alright, nothing just yet in Q. Down here, ES now having cleared equal high buy side liquidity. So that's done. Buy side liquidity taken. At least by now my safety stop loss would have been hit. Yeah, right now I'm more happy. That also changed over the time to not actually being a trade at all if I don't see the setup. Not trying to predict something. Even on NQ, I'm not super confident. Much rather wait for an actual setup to show up like we saw it this London session, for example. I used to be always in a position trying to anticipate what price is going to do next instead of simply waiting. Okay, 4 a.m. new hourly candle, we go sideways, and most of the time if we go sideways at a extreme point without doing anything for an extended amount of time, and then we drop, leave behind equal low sell side liquidity and a nice bearish value gap, also overlapping with a unfilled volume imbalance, well, that's the trade I want to be in. Everything before that, yuck, I don't want to be involved in that at all, especially since we just hit CPI news high. And afterwards, we actually been pretty choppy. Same thing goes for the New York AM session. Getting in prior to the New York Open. Nah. Our first trade worked out. Let me actually get out of this one since it looks like we might be reversing now finally after hitting that high. So our initial long based on this order block paired with the bullish fair value gap right here ended up playing out. We closed below it, yeah, but eventually we delivered into our buy side liquidity pool. Now we're immediately back at the VWAP. NQ looks like it's also going to reject this bullish fair value gap here and hitting our paper trade stop. So now that we actually cleared equal high buy side, I'm inclined to try another short right here. Let's see how we close on this candle. We still have 40 seconds to go. Before we take any thing unconfirmed, 15-minute time frame, we swept the high. 15-minute candle is going to close in 5 seconds. 1 hour time frame swept the previous hour high, swept the previous 4-hour candle high. 5-minute time frame, new candle just opened up inside the inversion fair value gap. Let's see if we can get on a little pullback. That does it for me. Let's see. Lower risk trade, I'm happy to add again if we get some more confirmation here on our 5-minute time frame. If this is just another pullback and we continue to go higher from here, well, then so be it. Usually I risk 1% per trade. In this type of environment, I like to lower my risk, and I mean, I'm not entering off a fair value gap here. This is a pure, I don't know, I'd say order flow entry, which oftentimes also ends up being a trap. If we want to continue higher, get rid of all the longs here quickly before reversing it back up. I don't have the feeling that after taking equal high buy side, that we're immediately going to continue higher without taking equal low sell side right here. So I think this is just going to be a very choppy range. I'm seeing that rate. I'm not trading the turtle soup entry. It's also a viable approach. I'm more interested to see the opposite liquidity to be ran now, which would be this equal low sell side. Not entering based on any fair value gap or anything here. That's why I use the lower risk, so I can take more shots. Right here on this trade, for example, I used 1% risk, got out with 1% right here at the previous day's high end. The other partial I tried to let it run also into this equal low sell side, which didn't play out because I actually have, well, an easier time of managing my risk here. If I see a close above this bearish fair value gap, I can simply get out with the entire position or 50%. And instead of losing an entire percent of prices moving back above this level right here, I can actually get out earlier. With this one, well, it would be difficult to say, okay, so now we retrace up to this level, now I'm getting out without having that fair value gap. And Q didn't respect the inversion, neither did it respect the bullish fair value gap. Could still just end up forming some sort of a W formation right here and reverse. Not the reversal, guys, so we could simply also just now anticipate what we always do, seeing that we didn't hold support on the bullish fair value gap overlapping with the inversion. Look for lower prices. It's one of those two. Either reversal or profit target. So 1-to-1 risk reward would bring us down to the equal low sell side liquidity pool. Yeah, I think I'm just going to be looking for a 1-to-1. So that's the current trade I'm in. Stop loss isn't the smallest. 1-to-1, I think we actually even got a better entry than that. Yeah, something to that. What it does afterwards, I don't really care if it continues into the Asia session low. The easy low-hanging fruit trade with the highest probability in my eyes, after rating equal high buy side, paired with SMT divergence, taking out the previous 4-hour candles high. 1-hour candle high would be the opposite sell side liquidity pool, which is right here. This equal low sell side. Might continue lower. I might leave a runner for that. We will see how we're going to manage it and what the candle is looking like. But right now I think longs have been trapped and they're paying for the shorts right now. Hopefully someone else was able to jump in with me on this. Let's actually get rid of the short. Save some money on that paper account. This inversion fair value gap, this bullish fair value gap hasn't been respected at all, so why even keep it on the chart? We had our market structure shift paired with the order block that delivered into buy side liquidity against all the odds. And yeah, now we hit that buy side liquidity. We didn't hit it on NQ. So that's our SMT divergence right here. Just with one tick. Paired with the bearish engulfing. Yeah, just looking for the opposite liquidity pool now. Let me actually share the 50k giveaway with you guys here. Not sure if all of you have already participated in that. I mean, it's worth a try. Every other giveaway where you likely participate on social media, if you even do, the odds are, I'd say, worse, because right now all we have is 14 participants. I don't know if that would be the lottery. You sure as hell would be participating if you win $1 million. There's nothing bad about winning a free 50k challenge. You don't have to claim the 5-day free trial because you're all VIP members. Simply put in your wop.com email into the submit your wop.com email section down here and you're registered. It's worth the try. And you guys also automatically participate in the 150k MFFU challenge giveaway at the end of the month after our 50% promotion that I'm currently hosting. So on the 1st of March, I'm simply going to pick one VIP member. Not pick them, do a little raffle, make it random. And yeah, that person is going to win, or that member is going to win a free 150k MFFU challenge. And whoever is going to win that, going to be really upset if you fail that challenge. I tell you what. yeah. Otherwise, I would keep them myself. I'm kidding. But don't upset me. 150k account, that's worth a couple of $100. Give it your best shot. No YOLOing on this one. So yeah, excited to see who's going to be the winner of that. Looking to do these more often, maybe every month. Pick one VIP member to win a free challenge or something like that. Look at that mess. We hit our first short-term low. Now we're already messing around again. No 5-minute fair value gap. Then we see similarities. Instead of really collapsing, quick moves, we start to go sideways. See that right here? Small body candles. But let's give it a try. In Q, like I said, it's either going to be a W formation right here. We're going to continue higher from here, or we fail to hold and continue lower. Or we chop. Yeah, that's real skill to be able to tell that. We're going to continue higher, go sideways, or continue lower. It needs serious market experience to be able to tell that. The real skill comes into, anticipate which scenario has the highest probability outcome, or is going to play out with the highest amount of probability. Well, given that we are at the low of the day, at the low of the 1 hour bullish fair value gap, I'd say the W formation, but I don't really see a good, yeah, entry opportunity with that because we just invalidated all the fair value gaps we had here on the 5-minute time frame. I guess NQ's just a little bit more volatile, not respecting these fair value gaps perfectly, but based on the 15-minute here, I don't really see a bottom or top formation. If we compared it to yesterday, we had the drop, we took out the low, and we moved away from that, shifting structure right here and leaving behind a nice bullish fair value gap. That's where you want to get long, right here, and target buy side liquidity. Simple as that. Right here, looking for a reversal. Of course, you could be framing it based on a lower time frame and be kind of risky in my eyes. Riskier than this reversal right there. Of course, you can always try to catch the perfect low and say it's going to reverse up right here with the potential risk that it's going to run out Asia sell side liquidity. But why not take the easier entry right here on the inefficiency, place your stop at the 50% of this wick, target a simple 2-to-1 and done. Pretty much ever since 2 a.m. or that expansion to the upside was done, all we did here was chop. Secured 1% or 0.5% right here. Lost 0.3% on this initial short based on this inversion fair value gap. Well, in hindsight now, we could have closed 50% of the position here already, especially with this volume imbalance. But I think our exit right here is not the worst. Sometimes, yeah. That happens. Any questions, guys? Any trades you're in right now? Let's see. NQ. Come on, equal out sell side. I know you want to be taking. Nah, damn it. Let's just be patient. What's the time? It's 10:40. So that next 5-minute candle in 2 minutes is going to be a new 15-minute candle. I would really be looking forward for that next 15-minute candle to rate this equal out sell side. This should, yeah, help us adding a little bit more momentum. Right now on the hourly time frame, this is really messy. I'm glad that I didn't risk more than 0.5% on those trades. Let's see if we can score that. I think it would be the end for the AM session for me. Maybe check back later during the PM session, but I'm also not sure. I might hit the spa later on today. And then I won't be able to trade the PM session. Out of curiosity, I mean, it's just the 8 of us or the 9 of us. Who out of all the people watching is currently funded with a funding firm? And if so, which funding firm are you funded with? And if you're not funded yet, what's your plan to get funded, and which funding firm are you currently trying to get funded with? And ideally also the reason why you're trying to get funded specifically with that firm. If you want to share that, feel free to do that. Still going sideways here. Like said, new 15-minute candle. Oftentimes, if we don't continue immediately into that same direction, especially when we're in a sideways movement, always a bad sign for the continuation setup in my eyes. If we want to run these stops, we would have done that already. Why consolidate and give traders a chance to get out at break even? Just quickly move from equal buy side to equal low sell side. Well, my stop is right above here. Let's see. That's not really up there. It is, I think. Let's see. Still in profit. Caught a nice entry there. $300, $300 profit target. Let's see if we got some answers to my funding firm question. Funded with Apex and take profit trader. Well, good job, Kita. I'm funded with two 50k Apex accounts and now looking for $5 Topstep. Daily payout rule and no consistency rule, and Apex because it's really cheap. Yeah, relatively. Yeah, exactly. I agree, Kita. With Take Profit Trader, I still have my TPT funded accounts. It's just the easiest way to get paid out in the entire futures funding space. Requesting your daily payouts. Boom. Payout hit your bank. Those TPT payouts are also really, really quick. You cannot complain about that. You don't have to worry about a consistency rule. Your you have live trading drawdown, but at least on the other side, you get something in return for having that live trading drawdown with Apex. Well, if you look at the majority of the Apex payouts, they're all coming in at $2,000 or just around that level. That's why, I don't know, takes a lot of $2,000 payouts and a lot of work, 10 minimum trading days between payouts, blah, 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 30% consistency rule. Live trading drawdown, I just think that Take Profit Trader ranks much higher comparing the both of them. Two 50k Apex accounts. Yeah, nice. But we all know that being funded with futures funding firms, especially Apex, doesn't mean shit. In my opinion, at least. You can flip these accounts so easily. Buy 5 of them for, I don't know, with a 90 or 80% discount sale for, I don't know, $100. If you're lucky and take YOLO trades, you likely pass one of them at least on a high probability setup, pay the activation fee, and then you still struggle actually getting to that payout stage with Apex, the 30% consistency rule. That's why it's, in my eyes, just so much easier to get that first payout done and over with Take Profit Trader. Good job, Keita. And well, that was basically my mission in 2023. But I really want to scale up the operation, and after lots of considerations, I really decided that scaling up my payouts and this entire trading operation would be much easier if I was funded with CFD prop firms, because of the much better drawdown rules. Then I'm funded, I can request bi-weekly payouts or weekly payouts with funding pips. I have a 10% static drawdown, so it's much easier to actually maintain the funded account. 10% static drawdown, even if you have an outage, lose 5% or 6%, 7%, it's still, you're still able to potentially recover that loss instead of immediately losing the account, having to go through the entire challenge phase again. Also looking forward to only risk 0.5% max on my CFD funded accounts. So it should be easy. 20 losing trades max in a row. Probability for that is really, really low. And yeah, with the right account size, that's a cool thing also. If you go for a $200 or $400,000 account, your challenge objectives stay the same. So you also only have to reach a 8% profit target in phase 1 and a 5% profit target in phase 2. And you still have that 10% static drawdown. With future funding firms, well, you can get that 250k Apex account, but your drawdown to profit ratio is significantly different to your 50k challenge or your 25k challenge. So the 25k challenge, you have a 1-to-1 drawdown to profit target ratio of $1,500. And for the 250k challenge, I think you have to reach a profit target of 20k with a max drawdown of 10k or something like that. So actually a 2-to-1 ratio, twice as hard as passing your 25k challenge. And that's my mission for 2024 wrapped up here. Well, I'm gonna stay in that trade, see if we hit that 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. We're consolidating around the VWAP. I'm usually not a fan after seeing a quick drop in price followed by a consolidation. Just from screen time, I can say that the probability now is much higher that we actually reverse and take out highs again. On NQ being at the low of the day, not respecting the inversion fair value gap now, seemingly maybe forming that W formation. Well, we could also just see chop for the rest of the AM session and maybe continue to move during the PM session starting at 1 or 2 PM. It's just a 0.5% risk trade, relatively speaking, of my entire max static drawdown. I can afford to lose that. With a futures challenge, 0.5% would already be, well, almost, let's say, given on a 50k challenge, you have $2,000 max drawdown. If you risk 0.5%, that would be 250. That would already be an eighth of your total max drawdown. That's, or a 16th, is it? $250 for now an eighth. Yeah. That strongly smells like accumulation around the VWAP. Look at this. That's not what you would want to see after getting in short, after a market structure shift bearish fair value gap. This is accumulation, reaccumulation at a discount around the VWAP for the continuation up higher. Gonna quickly go to the bathroom, be back in no time. Gonna monitor the trade on my phone. Let's take a look at a few different charts. Euro US dollar. Job during London. Expansion post London. Move to the upside followed by a bearish market structure shift right here. Lowest down closing candle. Be looking for resistance here. That would be our breaker block. Very nice 2022 model. Already hit the first sell side objective though. Would have also been really interesting to trade. Curious to see if the setup plays out. Short-term high cleared. Market structure shift. Bearish value gap, bearish breaker block. Let's take a look at gold, because that's also really popular. I don't really understand why. Let's take a look at oil. Oil, yeah, going for a nice run, 930 opening, and we just continue to expand. Well, let's see. Someone who likes really likes to trade gold might say the same thing about ES. Why would you want to trade ES? I think it's just, yeah, personal preference in the end of the day. It's almost 11 a.m. New York local time, so we're gonna get a new hourly opening in 3 seconds. This is our new hourly opening. So far, all these hours have been pretty much trashy. This new hourly opening could help NQ to deliver this W formation, low of the day, after having filled this entire hourly bullish fair value gap, to deliver into this hourly bearish fair value gap now, and then see how it continues through it. So this would be my main target here, really. If I were long here on ES, we're still in this little consolidation here. We cleared equal highs just now. So that would be a classical charting pattern. Equal highs, higher lows. Question is, are we going to use that to break out to the upside and continue higher? Or are we going to break below all these lows? That's the question. 5-minute time frame. Well, I'm simply going to stay within that trade. And let's see if we have any more questions. Otherwise, that would be the end of the live stream today. Not very spectacular. If I see anything post live stream and I'm still at the computer, just gonna do the same thing that we did yesterday and simply share the trade idea. Yesterday's trade idea was right here, this long that we already talked about. Played out just fine. Actually turned out to be a entry at around the low of the day. And we also talked about the inversion fair value gap short. This was our London session kill zone. Let's see. That was last night. Beautiful executions from Bongo Rambo. Really beautiful. I mean, look at that precision. Nailed it here. That was the initial short, and that was the inversion fair value gap short that I also made sure to share here, where we at, I think right here, that was the first time. Classic inversion fair value gap set up here at the high of the day. Unfortunately, not able to execute that on my funding pips accounts. Fair value gap high, inversion fair value gap, target sell side liquidity. So if I see anything similar, I make sure to share that. But other than that, unless you guys have any questions or any other charts you would like me to take a look at, I might stay around for 10 more minutes and on live stream to see how this is going to play out. We're now running in profit for the, well, we've been consolidating around the break-even level. For the majority on that first trade, we lost 217 out of 300. So right around 80% of our planned risk. I'm also actually end up paying commission for trading the S&P 500 here on the 5%ers, but it's, yeah, not that much in my opinion so far. Out of the 1, 2, 3, 4 trades I took, I paid 1% would be 6,000, 0.1% would be 600. Now 1% would be 600. I paid 0.1% in commission after taking 4 trades with relatively large lot size. 0.01%, that should be fine. We'll see how it goes. Maybe that commission really adds up to being a lot. I guess it would be if you take 100 trades per day. So far on this account, I took a total of 3 trades, which would be the long we just took together here, the short I'm in right now, and this trade into buy side yesterday, right here of this fair value gap. And I think that's, yeah, decent. So now new hourly candle, we seem to be continuing lower, and this trade actually here, so must be 4 trades. Yeah. There we go, now we're running. Take a look at NQ. NQ is also delivering lower. Nice. Essentially getting chopped around after our entry for 25 minutes. But, I mean, I guess there's worse things. So now we're at the midnight level. Here on ES. Took out the low again. My main target is going to be equal low sell side. That's where I'm going to be taking my main partial or my main profit. I'm going to set my TP to a 2-to-1. Let's see what where that would end up coming out at. 2-to-1 risk to reward. This is our Asia session low, if I'm not completely wrong. Yep, this is our Asia session low, and it would be just below that. Well, we'll see. I think I'm happy with a 1-to-1. Profit is profit. Nah. We took a lower risk entry because we didn't see the fair value gap. If we would have seen a fair value gap on the stone closing candle, I would have added a little bit more. Of course, you could, yeah, scale down to the 1 minute time frame. Then we actually drew up this classical charting pattern, these equal highs and these higher lows. Right here, perfect triangle. We took buy side, and then with the new hourly candle, we collapsed to the downside, hit the midnight level. Let's see if we hit that equal low sell side liquidity pool, and yeah, see how we go from there. And maybe use the 1 minute fair value gap, but well, that's not really what I do. You know that. I prefer to simply stick to the 5 minute. Take a look at our hourly chart and see where that hourly fair value gap, that hourly fair value gap that NQ filled in completely basically starts at the Asia session sell side. Interesting. Right now the question is if we're going to hold support right here, but yeah, well, we'll see about that. Equal loss sell side is going to be a 50% partial. Afterwards, I will move my stop loss to break even, letting a runner or leaving a runner for that Asia sell side liquidity pool here on ES, since we've already cleared that on NQ. Formed a lower low here as well. So yeah, just going to get ready for my partial. I don't know why that's lagging behind. At least the profit is being updated correctly. That's just MT5 being MT5, close position 50%. Didn't see that low being hit on my phone screen here, so I'm gonna wait for that. Close 50%. Break even. So in terms of that risk management, it's pretty cool. Let's see if we can force update the chart here somehow, because price is still stuck here. Let's hit refresh inside our time machine, jumping from 2022 all the way back to 2008. Well, guess it doesn't want to update, but I don't really care. I have my trading view chart open and my phone open at the same time. So we secured 8 points here essentially. Final take profit target is going to be that Asia sell side liquidity. Let's see if we hit it, or if that's going to be our final sell-off. My entry happened right here at the VWAP at 24. Yeah. Stop loss right up here. Target Asia sell side. No, it's unfortunate that this is not updating. I wonder why. Refresh. I never had that issue if I traded with funding pips here. But apparently with 5%ers I've been getting that issue. Yeah, come on. Let's switch back to the 5% real. There we go. So now it's finally updated. Stop is at break even. We run this equal low sell side. Let's see. Right here, that's our low. That's done. My next target would be, this was my London session short, secured profits, rest stopped out at break even. There we go. So now for the continuation of this setup, for this not just to be a new hour opening fake out move. So we open up with the new hourly candle, continued lower. So if we look at the hourly time frame, took out equal low sell side liquidity, we want to see this fair value gap actually being respected. If we see the invalidation of this bearish fair value gap, well, I think that would be a decent opportunity to get back in long and target the opposite side. Our main objective after we hit buy side and cleared that was the opposite liquidity pool, and we just hit that. Now we have a bearish fair value gap paired with that, so let's actually see how that plays out. Because if we invalidate that, turning it into a inversion fair value gap, that's what I would do. So close above, retest, continuation higher, first partial, final target, trading within the range basically. And otherwise we would anticipate lower prices from here to hit Asia sell side. And that's gonna be pretty much it. We hit our profit target. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Gonna be interested to see what that fair value gap is going to do. We already push with some momentum here, 110. But let's see. So I don't see any more questions. That's going to be the end for the live stream. It's 11:10, the end of the macro timing for the early AM session. See what we end up getting at 1 p.m. I will let you guys know if I'm trading. If I see any setups, I make sure to share them. Otherwise, well, I likely be at the spa, but not really sure yet if I'm gonna go. All right, guys. Like always, thanks very much for joining in. Good stream, even though we saw, not the most fortunate price action right here. Initially tried a short once we closed below, while being in a paper trade long into the SPY side liquidity pool. Could have closed out early, but took the final loss, accepted the loss right here on this candle close. Saved us 40% of our total risk right here. With the stop just above this high, we turtle souped it, and we got in short right here of the VWAP to look for the continuation into equal low sell side liquidity right here. Now we've cleared that, we left behind a bearish fair value gap. So the question is, are we going to continue this overall seek and destroy pattern? Take out highs, take out lows, take out highs again, and keep on doing that? Or are we going to use this bearish fair value gap as resistance to hit our next sell side liquidity pool? That's the question of the day. That's why I made sure to secure partials here, moving my stop loss to break even. It's not worth that additional risk. So yeah, that's really that main question that I have. So we have that same bearish fair value gap here on NQ, but we have already filled in that low of the day, or that 1 hour fair value gap. We'll see. My final target is going to be Asia sell side. We don't have any more questions in the chat. So yeah, guys, thanks very much for joining in today. We will be back tomorrow for a end of the week live stream on Friday. Had a pretty good week. Can't complain about that. Rest is gonna get stopped out at break even. And it's frozen again here, so that's really terrible. We will see, like I said. Plan, if you keep on trading, watch this bearish fair value gap. Our first fair value gap ever since the 930 open, if we disregard this tiny little fair value gap. So if we see that being disrespected, I would anticipate it being used as support. Target the first short-term high and then the short-term high. And if you're still short, I'm short right here off this level with my stop right here at break even. I'm looking forward for the continuation of this bearish fair value gap until proven wrong, where I would essentially get stopped out at break even, and then I could consider taking the inversion fair value gap setup long. Playing inside the range, if we don't really expand, it's tough to hit those big risk to reward ratios. 1 minute time frame, well, we will see. Starting to look like a new hour opening manipulation. Also keep that in mind in terms of what time is it. New hourly candle opened up. the first 15 minutes of that new hourly candle we delivered into sell side. And if we now disrespect bearish order flow by disrespecting that bearish value gap, we could anticipate that this has been a stop run to the downside for the continuation up higher. Simply continuing that seek and destroy formation at the high of the week. Now, 50% of the week. Alright guys, but this is really going to be it. I see no more questions, so enjoy the rest of your day, take care, and we will be back tomorrow. Bye. Let me make sure I end the recording here too.